Hello everyone, welcome back to Maverick Mods. On this episode, we're gonna take a real in-depth look at the Firebird just to see what we have to work with. I promise on the next episode, I'm actually gonna open the toolbox, use some tools and start taking things apart. But first, we do have to see what we have to work with. So, let's take a look at it. Well, we've seen glimpses of the Firebird and we've seen a lot of parts, but haven't really done a deep dive at the car itself yet, and haven't really had the car in a position to be available to do a deep dive until now. So let's do that. Let's take a look. Let's do a quick walk around here. Of course, you guys have all seen this. This car came out of New Jersey. Near as I can tell, based on the registrations that we found, has not been on the road since 1993. This was a project, as I've gone through before, this was a project for a gentleman who was the brother of a friend of mine. And the brother died a few years ago from a heart attack, right in the middle of this project. And it looks like he had just starting to put it back together. So, of course, obviously we got it in a million pieces, and all the pieces are here now. But let's take a quick look at the car. Obviously, quarters have been replaced, old style lap joint, which we are going to fix, and I think I have a technique for that. The sandblasting will get the mud out, get the Bondo out of the crease there, so I can have an idea of what I'm working with. Glass is good, rear glass is good. That's good because unless I break it, we don't have to replace it. Not sure what's going on back here. I don't know if there was some rust. Looks like there might be a little bit there. Again, we sandblast that and get that out. This panel was replaced, and I cannot explain this. Was it too wide? They cut it, tried to splice it. Was it too narrow? Did they splice a patch in? No earthly idea. Wheels and tires going away. These are 235/70 15s, and of course those are wheels right out of the 80s. And we're going to either 17s or 18s. We're just going to fit a wheel and tire combo that will fit inside the existing wheel wells. We're not going to do tubs, and so far the idea is not to go with a 4-link, so we're going to have leaf springs, creating the limitation as to the width of the tire. The other thing I don't like about these tires, I think I looked for a DOT mark, and they're so old that there's not even a DOT mark on them, which means they're pre-2000. So needless to say, the tires are going away. Should not be on the road, even though they're basically brand new. I doubt seriously there are still the little bumpies on the tires, which means they have never been on the road. That's a shame. But the other problem is these tires are 2 sizes too tall for the wheel wells, and it shows when you look at it. It just doesn't look right. So we're going to get the right look with the right height tires. So let's continue on. Roof, I don't see any visible dents. I see one great big thing there that we're going to have to replace. We're going to have to look for a Camaro or a Firebird where we can steal the roof off of it, because I'm not into aftermarket sunroofs. So we're going to delete the sunroof and put an actual skin back in, inner skin and outer skin. Windshield channel, not bad. Once I get the urethane out of there, get a better look on that. Windshield's in good shape. I've never understood, well, maybe back in the day I did it too. It's close enough, let's put some spot putty on it. But we got rust coming through the spot putty. So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody because I've done it myself. I have to do a little bit of work on this quarter. We may actually pull this quarter back off because it does not fit well. Rockers look good. Door looks fairly straight. I don't see any major dents or dings. Fenders, on the other hand, this is where some questions that we will never have the answer to pop up. I have no idea if this is an original fender and they stripped it. I don't know if this is a replacement fender. It obviously came from another car. We've got a lot of little dings in here. Somebody wasn't very good with a body hammer right there, so we're going to work as much of that out as we can. If you get up real close, you can see that. So we're going to work out as much of that as we can. And this is old school. This is how dents were pulled back in the day. Drill, pull, drill, pull, drill, pull. The interesting thing is that all you have to do is remove the battery, and you can get to the entire back side of that panel. And if you pull the nose off, you can get to the entire front side of that panel with a hammer and dolly. So that's just, this is the quick way for dent repair back in the day. I'm not faulting anybody. So I'm going to try and save this fender. Continuing on, the cowl looks good. We had the fenders were off when we first saw the car. The cowl looks good. Firewall looks good. Not seeing rot, not seeing a lot of rust. There is a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as you would expect from a 54-year-old car. 54, 53, it's an old car. We are going to put a core support on it. It does have some New Jersey rot down here that's just been painted over. And this is going to, I don't think this, we do have some rust through a little bit here. That's about the only spot. We got a little rust through there, but you know, we're just going to put a core support on it. Okay. Same thing on this fender. This one's in a little bit better shape. Again, we have no idea the history on this. We have no idea why this fender was stripped. Don't know if it came from another car. It probably did. Probably came from the same car because it's got the same cutouts. We have a straight body with the exception of a lower door that looks like it was welded with an arc welder. So that will be patched properly. Other than that, the door's in good shape. Again, except for the spot putty. So again, this quarter's been replaced. Well, we have gap issues anyway, but it just does. I mean, they missed completely. So this quarter's coming off. This quarter's definitely coming off because they missed the alignment completely. We may actually have to replace this quarter. You know, I keep saying we. It's going to be I. I don't know why I do that. Other than that, we've got pretty good bumpers. They have a new license plate bracket though. Cool. It does have the original fuel tank. And I don't know if it has gas in it. And I'm sure it was, last time it had any gas in it was 1993. So, well, no idea. Now here is where we jump down the rabbit hole. I'm almost positive that Firebirds never came with gas shock struts. Or a gas shock strut. So that's gonna change. You know, the little twisty trunk springs, they work really, really well. I think maybe he decided because the original car did not come with a spoiler, and this is obviously a replacement deck lid. We had the original deck lid, but since it didn't come with a spoiler, he thought that maybe with the spoiler it would be too heavy. Although Pontiac GM, they only make one trunk spring, and it's for the cars with the spoilers. And if you don't have a spoiler, you just have really strong trunk springs. I had to get the trunk empty so that we could take a look at this. Trunk floors are surprisingly good. We do have some rust, which has been paint / undercoated over, but I don't think anything goes through, and it feels solid. So there may be a few little spots in it, but overall we got something good to start with. Yeah, now, and we're looking really good up in here. We're looking nice up in here. So we got something good to work with here. Deck lid channel. I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. We're not seeing really any rot, any rust, except for that panel there, and that's easy enough to fix. Okay. Let's take a look under the hood, or where the hood used to be. Again, this is where we kind of go down the rabbit hole. We did a VIN check on this car, and this was a Firebird Esprit. Firebird Esprits came with a 350 in 71, came with a 350 2-barrel. Okay, we measured this engine out, and it is a 350. The guy was obviously in the process of rebuilding it. So the short block obviously it's been to a machine shop and been cleaned up. It's got new cam bearings in it, and the cam bearing install looks spot on. But we have stock pistons, and get the light here. There's no cylinder cross hatching, and I cannot explain why that is. It does have rings in it. Now, the water pump and the front cover are on, but there can't be a timing chain because there's no camshaft. And this is the way we found the motor. So obviously when the engine comes out, it's going to come apart, and we're going to do a really heavy duty inspection, get the micrometers out, figure out where we're at. The whole thing's going back to a machine shop, and we're going to have them look it over as well before it goes back together. The previous owner bought a new set of, well, they're not new, they're used, bought a set of heads to replace the factory 2-barrel heads. So it had a two-barrel heads, 2-barrel intake. We found those, but sitting on the engine were these heads. And these are code is I6, which is for 1968. They're 400. The heads off 400, 360 horsepower. So they're I believe it's 217 or 211 valve, 211 intakes, 177 exhaust, which is much better than the 2-barrel heads. And we've got one of the heads off. The heads were bolted on with 3 bolts, and the heads are bare. No valves, no springs. They have not been touched. They're still dirty. So they obviously came off of a car, and he had not yet had a chance to take them to the machine shop. So far, they look okay. Of course, we're going to do take them to the machine shop, have them check for cracks. We don't have valves, but I did find valve springs. Dual spring. I did find the rocker arms, and I did find the thing, but no keepers. So these will have to be worked over. I mean, they're not in bad shape. I mean, I don't see, there's no cracks that are visible. Usually it's between the intake and exhaust. So they'll still be looked at. Back to, so he put a new brake booster, new master cylinder on. It's either new or a replacement washer motor. Of course, this was an air conditioning car, so that's good, except that, of course, it's set up for R12, so we're going to have to convert everything over to R134. And, okay, so next. This is another one of the rabbit hole things. The front end has been put back together. We have an original sway bar. It's a 5/16 bar, so that would match the Esprit. But we have a new steering box. We have a new pitman arm. We have a new drag link. We have a new idler arm. We have new tie rod ends. New ball joints, new sway bar links. Looks like, you can't see them from here, but it looks like there's new bushings in the control arms. He did replace the front brakes, or I should say the front brakes are replaced. The caliper, well, you can't really see them yet. I'll take a wheel off here soon. It's got red calipers. Now that's definitely worth at least 10 miles an hour and good for 50 feet shorter stopping distance. Okay, let's take a look at the interior, where there's a few questions that we don't know the answer to. Let's do a quick overview real quick. Original seats, original upholstery. A little worse for the wear. Back seats are not in bad shape. They're not great. I think I'm going to go with leather. Just do, if the frames are in good shape, we'll just do new cushions and leather seats. We've got some rips. This one, somebody glued it back together, but we got some rips. And I mean, it's actually not even cloth. It's more like a plasticky, clothy, vinyl-y, cloth-looking vinyl. So it's just what came with the car. Both door panels look good. A-pillar panels look good. Sun visors, well, they're original. A little dirty, but not bad. Headliner, except for that big sunroof in the middle, the headliner's in good shape. Problem is, we're going to have to replace it when we eliminate the sun visor, or this thing, the sunroof. Trim panels, not bad. Of course, this is sitting over. I pulled these were off the car, but they're in good shape. Original steering wheel, original column, non-tilt. I'm not a fan of that. I like tilt column. That's just me. With as many instrument clusters as I found, I have no idea if this is the original cluster. That is obviously not the accurate mileage. We have no idea what the mileage is, but this looks like the original dash, and it doesn't look like it's ever been apart. So that poses an interesting question. When we picked up the car, it came with two automatic transmissions, two turbo 350s. This console is loose, obviously, and that shows a manual shift boot. Deeper down the rabbit hole, these are not factory switches. Don't have no idea what they're supposed to be. Cigarette lighter. Here's the original power window switches. This, I don't think, is a factory piece. This is just fiberboard, because, and I found some of this material in amongst everything else. So was this an automatic car, or was it a manual car? I mean, this is a replacement shifter boot. Where'd it come from? Let's take a look, see. It's upside down. Made in Taiwan. So I'll bet this is a replacement. CHL Auto Parts. Yeah, this is not factory for sure. Brand new, never been used. Never had a shifter hooked up to it. And here's the plate that goes on it. Now, I doubt seriously that that's a factory cutout. It could be. I don't know. But as you can tell, that's an automatic underneath there, because that's what we found with the car. Those are not factory gauges. However, it's got 3 pedals. So that's where the mystery is. Did this car come as a manual and he's converted it to an automatic? Did it come as an automatic and he converted it to, or trying to convert it to manual? We did find a manual bell housing, but no flywheel, no clutch, no pressure plate. So just one of those questions we're never going to know the answer to. And these pedals are brand new. A foot has never touched these pedals, and they look brand new as well, like they were recently installed. Maybe he was trying to convert this to a 4-speed. Said we're never going to know, but it's all going to come apart. It's all going to get cleaned up. It's going to get sandblasted. It's going to get repainted, and this car is going to look better than it ever did coming off the showroom. And we're going to try and build this kind of as a tribute to the guy, because this car deserves to be back on the road. So that's it for me. Till tomorrow, signing off. There you have it. A close-up look at the Firebird. Now we have an idea of what we have to work with. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really would help me out. And thanks for watching.